that time of the day again. Yes, every Monday at around this time, we bring to you this very special show. Yes, it is MYSD Spectrum. Welcome to the 4th edition of MYSD Spectrum. Of course, as we continue to build a more inclusive and prosperous society, brick by brick. We're excited to share some updates, insights, and success stories, of course, via the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration through the State Ministry of Youth and Social Development. And today we're going to be shining the spotlight on a critical aspect of social development. We're talking about child protection. So join me as we delve into this, the vital work of the Child Protection Unit, of course, that under the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, and we'll be learning a lot about how they safeguard the rights and interests of children in Lagos State. And yes, we have the experts with us who, of course, will be doing a very great job of shedding light on this. So it promises to be a very great time. One more time, welcome to MYSD Spectrum right here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. My name is Akan Usen. All right. As the show progresses, we'll be giving you traffic updates to keep you updated and so you can make informed decisions at around this time. Of course, we know return journey influx is a thing to consider. So, yeah, it definitely is becoming busier on some major stretches of roads in Lagos. Precisely, I have a very good view of the movement coming from the Maryland and inwards Odukoya Bridge, where it is a potpourri of busy movement. Yes, indeed. It is quite busy at this time. So if you are intending to head in that direction, please factor that into your movement, or perhaps seek alternative routes, to just save your time and all that. All right, with us in the studio, it is quite a panel. I will call them a panel because it's not one, not two, but we have 3 guests with us in the studio who definitely will be doing a great job of, dissecting this topic that we have. Yes, we're talking about this Child Protection Unit. Joining me now are I will call them the dedicated professionals who make child protection a priority in Lagos State. Please, dear listeners, welcome with me Mrs. Bukayo Odukoya, Director of Child Development right there in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, it's great to have you on the show with us. And next to her, we have Mrs. Oshinfowokan Abiola, Deputy Director of Orphans and Vulnerable Children. You're welcome. Great to have you on the show with us. And yes, she is not alone. So it's I told you it's a panel. And just beside them, we have Miss Sumbo Daniels, Deputy Director of the Child Protection Unit. You are also welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So straight away, we delve into this very interesting topic. So, ladies, who will I be starting? I'll be starting with you, Mrs. Odukoya. So please, can you just briefly introduce? Let's talk about the mandate of the Child Protection Unit. Let's talk about that. What's it all about?
Okay. I would like to talk on the mandate of the Child Development Department.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So the department is responsible.
Okay, so that the unit is under that department.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. Yes.
So the department is responsible to protect the physical, psychological, okay, emotional safety and well-being of children.
All right.
To protect their rights and also take decision in the best interest of the children.
So it's all about the children.
It's all about children.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Abiola, how does the unit, the Child Protection Unit, how do you engage with? I know you do. From what I did a bit of reading up about the unit, you do some engagement with communities, with schools, and all that, and other stakeholders. How do you prevent child abuse and neglect?
Yeah, that's my colleague here.
Yes.
Miss Daniel.
Yes.
Because she's in charge of the unit.
She's in charge of the unit. Okay, so Miss Daniels, let's talk about that.
Basically, it's to do sensitization, sensitize the public into the communities, the marketplaces, schools, and all that. Okay. We have there's a group of those in the child protection space.
Okay.
That do talk about things that affect children in Lagos State.
Okay.
So if, for instance, there's a case of an abuse,
yes,
we try to look for somebody that a partner that can give that social services.
Okay.
You just connect the children to the services they desire or they need in their best
at that very point in time.
In their best interests.
Okay, so can you just help us shed light on what are the initiatives that the unit has undertaken to raise awareness about child protection?
It's to go into schools, talk to students.
Yes. Okay.
And we do out-of-school children as well, because it's not all children that are in school.
Okay.
That's why we go to place community.
Okay.
Go to the marketplaces, talk to them about their rights, what their responsibilities are, and what they are expected from parents, what they are expected to do as a child. In as much as they have their rights, that should be protected at all times.
Okay.
They also have sense of responsibility towards those things. Because you have a right to do things you want to do, does not mean that you must do things out of place.
Does not mean those things are...
No. So we still tell them what to do and tell them how to go about it. And in cases of an abuse, what to do about it, who to call, what services you need, and the first point of call and all that. There's a channel, there's an open channel of how to talk to children at every point in time. There's a case of any significant harm.
Okay. All right. Let's for the purposes of, I know people are listening to us, and some people do not really have a very good understanding of what the unit does. I don't know who I will throw this question to. What are the common misconceptions about child protection, and is there any way you try to, address this? How does the CPU address? How do you address them? Who do I throw this to?
Okay. The unit is to prevent and respond to all forms of abuses.
All forms.
All forms of abuses. All forms of abuses in the state, be it physical, sexual,
to children.
To children.
Okay.
Be it physical, sexual, and psychological, emotional abuse, and also to protect a child. And then one thing is that the Child Rights Law of Lagos State has stipulated that the best interest of the child is a primary consideration to be considered whenever you are dealing with any matter that affects children.
Okay.
So because of that, that is paramount to us. We take the best interest of the child. Like, for example, if some parents that have a conflict, and they are fighting for the custody of the child, the children are voiceless. And then, when there is dispute between couples, they tend to be selfish in their decision making. So,
and most times they talk from their own side.
Of course, they talk from their own side. But we ensure that their voices are heard. We ensure that the matter is being charged to court, and the court, we do conduct investigation concerning the suitability of the both parents, both the father and the mother, and there are parameters that we consider when we are taking the best interest of the child, like the mental and emotional suitability of the parents, the age of the child, the gender, even the environment where the child lives.
Sorry, can I interject? Talking about the mental state and mental state, are there any tests, or how do you determine that?
Well, we conduct social investigation on the parents.
Okay.
And then we also conduct interview.
Okay.
During the interview, we try to, listening is one of the critical aspects of social work. While we are interviewing them, we try to see how their emotions are, how they behave. You can even determine that
how they react
to situations. Some people are they will take certain situations to certain extreme at times, and then we try to determine that by that. And then the best interest of the child is the legal terms used in court to take the best interest decision of an individual child.
Yes.
And the fact is that cases are different from each other, and children are different from each other. What the decision you are taking on a child A might be different from a decision you're going to take on a child B, because of their circumstances. So all those must be taken into consideration before you take decision on the protection of the children.
Great one.
Yes.
Okay, so
Sorry, in addition to what you just
to
said,
that, yeah.
sometimes if there's need be, we go
Yes.
to court to get an order for the parents, either parent to go for mental evaluation.
Evaluation, okay.
Lagos
So that
State.
is
Yes,
that's a
there
thing,
is.
okay.
There's an order for that. So
All right.
when that is done at the general hospital, the result is sent to the court, and the doctor comes to read and tell magistrates or the judge.
Somewhat like a psychiatric evaluation,
Yes,
sort of.
yes,
okay.
the medical personnel, yes.
Yes.
So we explain what it is, and if there's need be for that parent to go for further examination, the court orders that as well. So it depends on the outcome of the examination to know if that parent is fit enough to take that child.
Interesting. Dear listener, I'm sure you'd want to weigh in on this. I know a few people who listened from last week. We even had questions, carryover questions, which I feel you would also be in good positions to, handle and then shed light on. But we'll go for a quick breather, and when we come back, we'll take it to the next level. Do remember you can be part of this show by calling via our studio lines 080-991-20777 and 091-538-77127. The first line 080-991-20777 is also our WhatsApp line, so you can also connect with us via WhatsApp. Would love to hear from you, and we value your feedback. We'll be right back after this brief breather. Stay close.
Health, education, employment, and quality of life are some important indicators that directly influence social development, and this is often used by government in policy formulation for their citizens' welfare. Citizens' participation and accountability are both essential for social development of any society, and this is why the Lagos State government, through the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, is investing in the development of its people through various intervention and empowerment programs in line with the Themes Plus agenda. For insights on the activities of government, policy formulation, and social inclusion, tune in to MYSD Spectrum, Ministry of Youth and Social Development Spectrum, a 45-minute program designed to showcase activities of the ministry in line with the Themes Plus developmental agenda. Join us every Wednesdays at 4:15 to 5 p.m. on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. MYSD Spectrum is powered by the Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development.
Welcome back. It's MYSD Spectrum right here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. And my guests, Mrs. Bukayo Odukoya, Director Child Development, and also Mrs. Oshinfowokan Abiola, Deputy Director Orphans and Vulnerable Children, and Miss Sumbo Daniels, Deputy Director Child Protection Unit. Yes, I told you it's quite the panel, and we've been talking about the Child Protection Unit, of course. And yes, it's been a great time on the show. So far, so good. A question came in during that break. I feel it's a repeat from last week, or maybe this person was listening last week and just wants to know. So this person wants to know what the difference is between adoption and fostering. What is adoption and what is fostering? When does fostering start and when does adoption start? So I don't know, who do we treat this to, Mrs. Abiola?
Okay.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Adoption is a process.
Okay.
And when compared to fostering, it's a more permanent process.
Okay, so
whereby
fostering
you
is
place-
permanent?
No, adoption is permanent.
Permanent, okay. Okay.
You place a child permanently in the care of fit parents
Okay.
who become to play a biological, to become play roles as parental rights.
Yes,
And
yes.
again, while fostering is temporary.
Temporary, okay.
Temporary.
So that's the
just
key word.
difference. That's
Temporary,
and
permanent. Adoption is permanent, then
so like
fostering.
my colleague answered the other time.
Yes.
When it
Last
gets
week.
so when it gets to about a particular age, it can be turned to adoption.
Okay.
And she was saying that which is the case that a child that is fostered,
Yes.
probably there's a likelihood that a parent would come up in future. The parents are still where she was not more found. Eventually, it's only abandoned children
Yes.
that we put on for adoption.
Okay.
That is
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Daniels, I would want to know, are there mechanisms for reporting child abuse cases? As in, do we have like hotlines, or what's the process? And how does the CPU respond to such reports?
There are different ways.
Okay.
There are walk-in clients,
Okay.
mandatory reporting, there are phone calls.
Okay.
Sometimes we get social media tags.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Where they tag
Yes, when they
the
tag
ministry.
the ministry, or tag a private person in the ministry,
Okay.
the staff of the ministry. We get reports from the police as well,
Okay.
from the community people. We have a group that is, we call them the Child Protection Network.
Okay.
They are in the community, so when they listen to any or they hear of any matter, they inform the office. So that's basically how we get to know about these cases. Or sometimes the child himself or herself
Will come and report.
Yes, please.
That child must be very exposed because
Because it's every time we go to schools, tell
Yes.
them about it, talk to it in the
Okay.
community, talk to parents and all that.
Oh.
So to some extent, people get to know what it's all about. So when they ask, they get information and key into it. So that's
Great one.
basically how we get. I'm getting referrals from
Okay.
other MDAs, other organizations and all that.
Other MDAs, so like
Like the-
DSVA.
DSVA, Minister of Justice, Minister of Education,
Okay.
Minister of Health, any other person.
Okay.
Government and non-governmental organizations.
I'm curious. Okay, so how does this work? Someone sends a report and then you follow through with it. How does it work?
Okay. If there is a report, for
Yes.
instance, now
Of abuse.
of an
say-
abuse or pending abuse
Yes.
that's coming up
Yes.
and all that, the first thing is to move quickly
Okay.
to the area of scene, get the nearest police station there,
Okay.
and talk to the police about it. We go with the police to the place.
Okay.
Because in any case of anything we're doing, we have to go with the police. So when we get to this incident place,
Yes.
we do our own investigation why
Okay.
the police does the main thing there. And if actually there's an abuse that has actually happened or is about to happen, the police picks the perpetrator and gives the children to us. So for the children, sometimes we need to place them in shelters.
Okay.
Sometimes we have need to get somebody, fit family, suitable person that will take them in. And that's what we do.
Okay.
So after that, we go back to the police station
Yes.
to get a police extract, a report from the police that
Okay.
this actually happened in so time at a particular place. After which we take if the child needs placement, we get a home involved, find out if that home can take in the child, check the child if it suits that home or that home can take that particular matter into consideration. And because each child has his own peculiarity, and if we find a suitable home, we take the home to the child to the home, or the home comes to pick the child, and the ministry writes a referral letter
Okay.
to say that we are actually the one that we give the child to with the police extract, and the next is to go to the family court to get what we call a care order.
Okay.
So that care order is legal papers that holds that child in that place. So most times is for 3 months.
Okay.
But if need be for us to go back and tell the court that we found somebody that can take the child before that time, we'll go back to change the date and all that. And if eventually the child does not see any suitable person to take the child, the home automatically takes over the well-being of that child, schooling, medicals, general well-being of that child, while we do supervision from time to time to see if the child is actually settled and well cared for at that home.
Okay. How about instances of say? Okay.
She said,
Yeah.
I would like to talk on the centralization of the cases that are being reported to us.
All right.
In order to centralize the cases, as she has said,
Socializing.
centralize.
Okay. Okay.
She said that they report at the nearest police station,
Yes.
but there are 2 juvenile welfare centers in Lagos State that we have.
Yes.
We have one in Alakara,
Okay.
that's Juvenile Welfare Center, Alakara, and then we have
That's
another in
around the
Adeniji.
Mushi end. Okay.
No, that's Mushi
Yes.
side.
Yes.
We have another one in Lagos, Adeniji Adele.
Adeniji Adele.
The
Okay.
nearest police station, when the matter is incidented in the nearest police station, the police officer, the officer in charge of that case will refer to either of the two, depending on the location where the case is being reported.
Okay.
So that's how we centralize the cases.
Are there units in the police that handle
units,
this?
Yes, there's unit in the police that handles children matters.
Okay. Okay.
So we also have another gender unit
Okay.
too at GRA, at the headquarters of the police force.
Okay.
Cases are also being reported there. So that are the three places that we do take to centralize the cases of all the abuses that are reported in Lagos State.
Okay. Are there numbers we can call? So this person that asked that question is asking, are there numbers we can call in case of maybe you want to report, maybe you see something and you want to say something? Yes. Maybe in the neighborhood. Yes, please. Let's.
090.
We'll call it a bit slow because of people that want to 090.
090.
Yes.
67
65
35 3002.
3002.
They can call in, they can send WhatsApp messages.
Okay. Okay, WhatsApp message. That means they can also send in maybe pictures.
Yes, please.
Evidence and all that.
Yes.
Okay, let's.
Each case.
090
Yes.
673 53002. Okay.
Yeah,
All right, and that makes sense. So even in instances where it's a dispute between the husband and wife, your main focus is the protection of the child, and it will go through the same process.
Of that child.
Okay. I'm curious. Can you share some success stories of how you have intervened to protect children in distressing situations? Who'd address this? Mrs. Abiola. Okay.
We've done several cases that have been successful. Okay, I'll share a case of a child that was abused by the father.
Wow.
The mother had left the home while he was younger. He was about 8 years old, and it was like he had marks all over. It was physical abuse all over. Very young, very frail child. So what we did, intervening, we took the matter to court.
Okay.
The man was reprimanded through the court. The child was put in government care, and then for several months he went to school. He had no opportunity of schooling before
prior to that time. Wow.
So he went to school, and that's one of it.
I would like to share some success stories.
Please do.
We have recently some of our children graduated from Unilag.
Interesting.
Even from Russia.
Wow.
He gained a scholarship to Russia, and he graduated this year.
Wow.
Most of those children, they are children that are maltreated. Maybe they run away from the house, and we got to know about it, and we give them protective custody in the government shelter or other private that are registered with us. Because when they are in the homes, we ensure that they go to school. That is a must, because that's paramount interest of the child.
I think that was part of what we talked about last week. Making
every
sure
child
that
must be in school. One of the right of the child is to have access to quality education, and that's what we practice in all our homes.
So in any of those homes now, who is responsible? So the state is responsible for the education.
The state is responsible for everything in all the government homes.
Wow.
State responsible. We even have they do the same exam with public schools. Some of our homes, we have primary schools in Idi Araba where they write the same exam with the public. Yes, and they are really thriving very well.
Okay.
I'd like to just add there were two.
Okay. More
two ladies,
more stories, more success stories
that passed through the school system, and they had a private scholarship. And they are married today, both of them, and they're doing well.
Wow. Amazing, so heartwarming. Okay, so now you already mentioned that we have that you interface with law enforcement, the law enforcement agencies. Particularly, I mentioned the police. How about other agencies and maybe healthcare providers? How do you collaborate with them to respond to child abuse cases?
Okay. In terms of their health care,
Yes.
one of the rights of the child is that they must have access to adequate health care. And then we collaborate with LASHMA, that's Lagos State
Health Management Agency.
Insurance.
Okay.
We ensure that all the children in our homes are registered with them.
Oh wow. Okay.
So when they go to government hospitals, they have access to quality healthcare services in the state. So we are also trying to ensure that even the orphanages that are registered with the Lagos State government, to ensure that all the children in those homes too are also registered with LASHMA, so that they can benefit from the insurance scheme of Lagos State government.
Amazing. Ms. Daniels, I know it cannot be all smooth sailing, so let's talk a bit about the challenges. What are some of the challenges this Child Protection Unit faces in carrying out its mandate, and how are you addressing them?
One thing for me, it's a lot of people feel that all children, any child whatsoever, needs to go into a home, government home, but it's not.
So not all.
Not all children. It depends. They are all individual cases. So it depends on what is best for that child. But and sometimes when people see any child, in as much as it's a child, maybe they feel the child is not okay or something. They feel, let's take the child to the government. He has to go into a home. They have to take it out. Sometimes they have issues with the parents of the child. So sometimes, not often, sometimes they make stories to suit the need for that child to be taken from the parents. So once in a while, we have cases reported like that. We get to the scene and there's nothing like that.
After your investigation, you discover that
there's nothing like that.
Wow.
Sometimes might be so that has been done 5 years ago, and it's no more like that. The story has changed,
things have changed.
but they still feel, let me just do this thing for this person.
So possibly someone maybe with a sentiment or
Sentiment,
something.
yes. You have to work with empathy, not sentiment, not sympathy. Do you understand? That's one. Then two, Lagos being Lagos, influx of people.
Yes, from
People
everywhere.
From everywhere on a daily. You understand? So there's no how. The more you do, the more you still see. So you feel frustrated that with all this I'm doing, why is this thing still like this? It's getting more every day. So we are on top.
Yes. We try as much as possible to discourage institutionalization of children.
Yes.
She has said it. That we don't encourage children to be put in protective custody. It's as a result of last resort. It is when we don't have a suitable family.
Yes.
Any suitable family that can be responsible for the well-being of the child. That is when we take such children into the homes. But a lot of people think that every child that come across us must be taken to the orphanage, like she has said. But that is not the case, because in as much as possible, family setting is the best for any child.
Very, very
it's
best.
still the very best for any child to be.
Okay.
If I may add
Yes.
on the ways that the state through the ministry has been addressing such challenges.
Yes.
I know that the department organizes parenting meetings, better parenting meetings with parents.
Okay.
Throughout the divisions of the states.
Okay.
That is being done. There are also the economic strengthening for families, especially HIV affected families, just to mitigate the impact of that virus on the family. So those are the ways that the state address some of the challenges facing
Great.
protecting children.
Mrs. Oshinfowokan, I will still be throwing this question to you because, so I feel this is your purview. Orphans and vulnerable. Who qualifies to be vulnerable? When do we say someone is vulnerable? Because with the way the country is, everybody will tell you they are vulnerable. So who is a vulnerable, in this case, a child? Who is a vulnerable child?
For the ministry,
Yes.
every child is vulnerable.
Okay.
Every child is vulnerable. Prone to abuse
Yes.
by people who do not understand their parenting tasks. And specifically for the ministry, is by way of making work easier, that this unit is created. But specifically, the units for orphans and vulnerable seeks to address children who are HIV affected or infected. If we say affected, maybe a parent or a caregiver, is infected. If you say infected, it must be that child. So we really look at them and we work with partners, local partners, some in the community, some in the state. So in 11 communities in the state presently, we're working to do that with other MDs. Now, the whole business, the task of child protection is not, no one can do it all.
Yes.
So Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, all those line agencies are stakeholders in protecting the child. Even the National Population Commission too works with the OVC just to help to mitigate the impact on the child. So now we have a TSC, we call it Technical Steering Committee, composed of all these stakeholders, which MYSD takes the leadership role just to ensure that everyone does his own bit about helping that child, to function better in society, while reducing the impact of that virus on the child or the family.
So I will also like to talk on the collaboration with the National Population Commission. The National Population Commission is the commission responsible for the registration of birth.
Yes.
And it's important we know what birth certificates are meant for. It's for planning in the state.
Yes.
And it's important that every child is registered. They have birth registration. So we are trying to collaborate with National Population Commission to ensure that every child that passes through our orphanage has a birth certificate. So we are planning to take the National Population Commission to the orphanages to register them as a group. Instead of, because that challenge that has been discussed at our last stakeholders meeting.
And that's also another.
Yes, that's very, very important to us. Then, like she also said that every child is vulnerable, but more and more vulnerable than the other. We have the more vulnerable and we have the most
vulnerable.
Yeah, because you can't compare a child that is being abandoned on the street.
Yes.
With a child that is living with his or her parents.
Okay, there's a level of vulnerability.
There's a level of vulnerability. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a level of vulnerability among the children.
Quite an interesting discourse. I will go on and on and on, but unfortunately, time is not our friend, and we just have to bring things to a close. I really had a great time discussing this subject of child protection, and I'm looking forward to having the three of you, my amazing panel, on another edition of the show, if that is possible. Thank you so much for making time out of your busy schedule, from Miss Daniels to Mrs. Oshinfowokan Abiola, and also Mrs. Bukayo Odukoya. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Dear listener, we have come to the end of another very wonderful edition of MYSD Spectrum. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery and exploration. A big thank you to Abiola Olabisi, Director of Public Affairs, MYSD. Also, saying a thank you, to our executive producer, Tayo Akonle. And remember, the cornerstone of a brighter future is social development. And together, me and you, we can build a more inclusive and prosperous society. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and success stories from the Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Until next time, keep shining your light and keep making a difference in your community. My name is Akan Usen, your host, saying goodbye for now.